Hey everyone, welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor players how to play the game by criticizing current players. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Stacy, and tonight we are talking about the 4th episode of Survivor 44. I'm Felicia. Not by Felicia, I'm Felicia. And I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, both in person for once, second time this season actually.
It happens.
Half the 50-50 so far. We have Derek Kupachuk.
Hello.
And Josh Wessler.
Hello.
So we just watched episode 4. And while it had its fun moments, we get a big new twist that we won't spoil yet. But I'm just going to go ahead and say I don't like it.
Shocker coming from Ryan.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Back in my day, we didn't have this kind of crap.
Back in my day.
And maybe the old man yells at Cloud of the podcast. But damn it, I will yell at this Cloud.
Well, when the Cloud looks like a horrible Survivor twist, you have...
Sometimes you have to call a Cloud and a horrible twist a horrible twist.
That's actually just skywriting that says knowledge is power. It's not even a real cloud. Jeff is flying the plane.
What did you guys think of the episode?
Thoroughly entertaining. I think maybe my second most entertaining of the season. Lot of bad gameplay again. A lot of people who think they're good at Survivor and aren't, and a lot of people who maybe don't give themselves enough credit and are doing fairly well. I'm excited to talk about it.
I don't think there's a lot of bad gameplay.
Yeah, I didn't actually think there was much bad gameplay. I mean, like, a couple things that we'll end up mentioning, but yeah.
In fact, I only, at everyone who survived the vote and survived the episode, I would only put one person in the negative.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought it was a solid episode. Like, I didn't think it was, like, amazing or anything, but I had fun watching it. You know, a couple of twists and turns here and there. I was consistently finding myself waiting to see how things played out, which is always good for Survivor.
Well, should we jump into it?
That's best. Spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right, let's get into this episode proper. So we start over on Soka, where Josh kind of sees himself as the swing vote between two couples. We have Danny and Heidi, and then we have Franny and Matt. And he's in a really powerful position. Cut to Danny, Franny, Matt, and Heidi all talking about the four of them working together in a couples alliance to take out Josh. Which I gotta say, if this tribe stayed together, love that move. Because then you have a united front going into the next stage of the game. You got a united four. I like that.
And at least 2 solid voting blocks. So it's not unfair to any parties involved. I don't like that eliminating Claire has essentially preserved the duo in favor of Josh, but I do think this tells us, it confirms what we were talking about last week, that Josh is not a very good social player. If people are so quick to cast him aside as the easy next vote in favor of a power couple, that's telling. That's telling.
People don't trust him.
And this will be interesting because we make comments about, strong tribes that don't really go to tribal council, how they're going to fare after the merge. I think this tribe is set up the best out of any of the 3 tribes just because of the options they have. If they don't go to tribal again before the merge, they have 5 people that seem like they could end up working together in some way, shape, or form. If they go to tribal once, they could eliminate someone like Josh, as it stands right in this moment, and then have a really strong 4. And even if they go to tribal twice, or like if they go to tribal with Josh not being there for some particular reason,
why would that be?
they can go back to eliminating someone from the duo and just work from there. So I just really like how the dynamic of this tribe is going to lay out for them long term.
And it sounds like in particular for you're saying it favors Danny and Heidi.
Yeah, the core group that was making the decision last week.
Yeah.
Over on Tika, the group finds 2 little red sticks in the shape of an X inside of the bird cage. So they're trying to figure out, did one of us put it there? Did production put that there? Is that a new clue? Cut to flashback time where Carolyn, great stuff. I love this. Carolyn put the 2 little red sticks there as an X, and then put 2 other little red sticks at their camp underneath the log and hid the fake idol that she got out of the birdcage in the log. So lo and behold, Sarah's going to find it and get a fake idol. She's going to believe for the entire episode this is a real idol, and it is so dang funny.
I can't believe that this actually works. I mean, it does because you have the note and the wrapping and everything to kind of prove it and convince them. So as with all of the other fake idols so far in this game, not by Matthew. And it's still a little manufactured, but I like the idea behind it at least. At least there's some creativity coming from Carolyn with it.
Yeah, and she's like, this seems like a little hard to believe, but in this era of Survivor with all this dumb BS, this could totally work, and it totally works.
It was funny. It was not framed as a dig at production.
Absolutely, dig at production.
But for those of us who interpret it that way, it could have been perceived as a dig on production. This is so stupid. It probably shouldn't work. It 100% worked. A couple seasons ago, I was saying, I can't believe Nora did that, or I can't believe Nora said that. Carolyn is the Nora reincarnate, hopefully with a nicer real-life personality, and I believe that is the case. So from now on, it is, I can't believe Carolyn did it, and she got away. We can't keep letting her get away with this.
And you know what? I can absolutely believe she did this, and now I'm coming more around on this Carolyn train. I don't know if she can win, but she's got some skills.
Oh, there's something to her. Absolutely.
I would say to maybe spoil my who can't win this game, it's not Carolyn anymore.
I also am off the Carolyn train.
I did that last week.
Yeah, you did.
What a hipster.
Reward challenge. Soka is going to win reward. Ratsu gets second, but that's not the important stuff. Who cares? They get tarps. The big thing in this episode is we get another Mystery Adventure Island. Soka wins, so they get to send one person from each of the other two tribes and one person from their own tribe. So, they pick Carson and Jamie. Okay, fine, whatever. But they also send Josh. So the question is, did Josh volunteer? Or did they send him, the person they want to vote out next, to Mystery Adventure Island to possibly get an advantage? We do not know. If they sent Josh, that was stupid. If Josh volunteered, well, what do you do?
And regardless of this being because of what ends up happening, let's just pretend like it is regular Mystery Adventure Island, that, you have chances at idols or any sort of other advantages. If you are really serious about taking Josh out at the next vote, that is the reason why this is stupid. Not because he could, disappear off to a different tribe.
What happens here is completely unprecedented, and it is nobody's fault. Nobody can be blamed for this. What is about to happen? Except production.
Fair enough. But yeah, we need to go into this assuming that this is another Mystery Adventure Island trip. We need to go into it assuming you're going to have the chance at an idol or a chance at an advantage. And when it happened, I guess not in real time, but as the episode was airing and I was watching it, I said Josh had to have volunteered. And they just, both sides feel like they need to keep up the facade and let him go out there. And then if he thinks he's with them, whoever them happen to be, then they can still vote him out and blindside him. But I still don't like it. And this was one of the things I was referring to when I said this is questionable gameplay. It's just, but what's hard is we don't have all of the information.
Exactly. So I kind of ignored it because we didn't get enough.
And we kind of glossed over it for a second, but I really like the Jamie pick to go. Honestly, because of the way that women have been voted out so far on this season, I think if you want to shake things up, it's almost default. Maybe go with a woman at this point.
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't pick Carolyn
or Sarah.
Right.
Sarah already went, so that there might be a thing where you can't go if you've been already.
So Carolyn.
Yeah. So probably send Carolyn unless there's something between the lines there. I don't want to generalize like this, but I feel like on this season the contestants have no choice at this point. Because, we're losing another woman tonight. Yep. Again, not to spoil the ending, but everyone listening to the podcast, you've been warned. So that's everyone who's been voted out has been a woman.
Yep.
So we're still going. What was the Zach Wertenberger tweet, Ryan?
Yes. Josh found a tweet from Zach Wertenberger saying, and it was a poll. At the end of this episode, are there going to be more women or idols in the game? And it turns out it's tied 5-5.
Ouch.
5 idols, 5 women. That is terrible.
And I apologize. I just shared that, Ryan. I didn't remember that Josh was the one who shared it. I should have passed the credit on to him. He's our Twitter guy. So
all credit to Josh for finding that.
Oh, thank you.
All credit to Zach for the top tier tweet.
That is an amazing tweet, Zach.
And Zach Wertenberger is a top tier first boot survivor follow.
Yeah,
I must say.
No, technically he's the second boot, but whatever.
You're right.
First person voted out.
Yes.
So Mystery Adventure Island. They're going up the way to their little challenges. Oh wait, it's not a little prisoner's dilemma or anything this time. They all just get hidden immunity idols.
Congratulations.
What are we doing? Survivor handouts now.
Back in my
day, you had to find your idols. No, they all get hidden immunity idols. They expire when everyone lives on the same beach. I think the implication there is we're doing that kind of weird pseudo merge thing, half merge. So, because they all live on the same beach.
Yeah, they don't use the word merge.
Yeah, so it's the thing before the merge that we've been doing in this era, quote unquote, era of Survivor.
And at that point, they are no good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
up until then. So play these early and often.
The second you have an opportunity.
Essentially, this is a safety net for what's about to happen.
Which, you know...
We've gotten this before, though, haven't we?
Like
once.
Edge of Extinction. Edge of Extinction, they came back into the game with half an idol.
Gotcha.
And they had to make it through the first tribal council to get the other half. Yeah. So they got half an idol. They gave the other half to somebody else. They both people had to make it through the tribal council, and then they could be reforged as a real idol.
And I think we were okay with that one because it required social and strategic, I don't know, class to get it done. This is just... I mean, this makes me sound like I'm on a certain end of a political spectrum, but like this is a handout.
I just said that.
I'm sorry.
I said that.
I don't remember this. But yeah, we're just giving these things away.
We're just giving them away.
Yeah.
Who's paying for these idols?
Who is paying for these idols? I'm sure somewhere in the back end, Tony's fire tokens that he extorted from Ben and Nick paid for.
Back in my day, I had to buy idols with fire tokens.
Our taxpayer fire tokens are going towards these idols.
Where's the peanut butter?
I want to make it clear we're making fun of these people.
Yes. But I have something that I just want to say really quickly about this twist that bothers me, because this is a loose tie-in to Jeff's podcast, which is something else that is going on. Overall, if you're a Survivor fan, you should listen to this podcast. It's very insightful.
Ours is better.
But there's something that Jeff says in one of them. He says, I'm trying to give choices to the players. And to his credit, and to reference earlier podcasts from us, we like it when contestants have choices. But what is really bugging me is that these production manufactured multiple choices, it's like coming to a fork in the road and you get to decide whether or not you go left or right. But here's the problem. That is an illusion of a choice. These roads were constructed long ago by production to lead you exactly where you're going to go eventually, rather than being more of an open world Survivor community like it used to be in the olden days. I'm not saying we need to get rid of all advantages, though it still would be fun for a season. This is an illusion of choice, and I don't want anyone to be okay with it when there is a better way to do it. So this is an illusion of choice. Don't let them fool you.
The other part you were referring to where this happened before is with the Outcast twist. When they came back into the game, they were given immunity for the first round. So that's the other one where this happened. But the other part of this twist, because we didn't even talk about that yet. Besides the hidden immunity idols, is they all get sent to a new tribe. All three of these people, Josh, Jamie, and Carson, they have to draw a buff out of their bag, and they get sent to a new tribe. So it is a tribe swap, but with one person.
Technically.
So Derek gets like half credit on his bold prediction from last week.
This is completely unprecedented. I'm giving you full credit.
Yes.
I'm giving you 3/4 credit.
3 out of 5.
Carson ends up on the new Ratu tribe. Josh joins Tika, and Jamie joins Soka. I hate this.
Yeah.
This is garbage.
I like that we're finally getting back into mixing people around on tribes, because we haven't had that for the last 3 seasons. But do it in one of two ways. Either just do a full tribe swap, or do an optional mutiny where they walk up here and they say, congratulations, you can get an idol. Maybe that's what it is, but you have to switch tribes.
Yeah, okay, here we go. This is a hidden immunity idol that is good until the merge. Whatever. You can take this, but you have to switch tribes, and you'll draw a buff to randomly decide which tribe you go to. Yeah. If you don't want it, if you don't want the idol, you don't do anything, and you go back to your tribe, and maybe to really incentivize it, you go back to your tribe, but you lose your vote.
Yeah, if you really want to push it.
Yeah, I like... This is something that Survivor has not done enough, is the mutiny. Just give them the option to jump. They did it in Thailand. Nobody took the offer. I think they did it one other time.
The Candace season.
Well, no, there was another time I think they did it that it didn't air because nobody took it. I think there was one other season where they did it. Then they did it in Cook Islands, famously with Candace and Penner. And then it was an option on token sheens that was they only brought it up once, but on Exile Island, 2 people went to Exile Island.
That's
one
right.
would get the idol clue and the choice to mutiny. No one took it. I think if you keep putting that in, I think somebody's going to take it. And it's going to be really.
It's been
fun.
a while then. If Exile Island was the last one,
token sheens, I think was last.
It's been a decade since we've given them the option for it.
Well, and I can see Jeff saying something along the lines of, well, no one ever chose to mutiny. It barely ever happened, so we just took it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, again, there's plenty of things that the contestants don't do. I never see them standing on their heads and juggling coconuts with their feet, but they're still allowed to do it.
Even more to the point, Jeff, we're in a new era, as you keep saying. They're more likely to do
try
that
it
now.
again.
I agree. I think in new era Survivor, people will be more keen to mutiny.
Yeah.
As they probably should be.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Very rarely.
Yes.
But if you put 3 people out there all with the same choice to do it, and you do it, I don't know, once or twice in the pre-merge, it might happen.
And why I like it for this situation, the team that's sending people to Mystery Adventure Island, we've talked about the ideal strategy is trying to pick someone that will shake up the tribes that have to send them by force. This is a chance to really shake that up. Because if you do land on the right person, and then we go with our whole, like, maybe you get an idol if you mutiny, that can really shake things up. So give him the option. This
was not a choice. There's no choice here.
Which, the last time we went to Mystery Adventure Island, in season 44, it wasn't really a choice either. Like, you had a choice to do it a second time or whatever, but...
I think the more important thing to note here is, and this is us being consultants, future seasons, anybody who's listening who's going on 45 and beyond, don't go to Mystery Adventure Island under any circumstances. Don't go. Do not volunteer. It is a trap. It is just a trap. The rare occasion you get a good thing is the exception to the rule. Do not go.
And then you're a target.
Yep. Don't go.
I still disagree with this. There is a circumstance to go if you feel that you're next and you're on the bottom.
Fine. Okay. 99% of the time, you're good. But if you are next and you know it, fine.
Yes.
Any other situation, do not go.
I just wanted to throw in that caveat, but for the most part, I agree with you.
I think we should stop doing Mystery Adventure Island for a while. I'm kind of over it.
Give a break.
Retire it. We'll have it for 45, though.
Yeah. So we get the whole switcheroo. So Josh joins Tika. He tells everyone he's a physical trainer, but they overheard, like, Soka talking during her previous challenge that Josh should do that thing where they had to get the ball up the snake challenge. And since he has steady hands, he should do it. So one of them, I don't remember who it was, like, oh, are you a surgeon?
I think it might have been Sarah.
Yeah.
He's totally a surgeon. But he's like, no, I'm a physical trainer. None of them believe him.
And I don't think we saw on the other tribe if this is the lie that he's going with. Because, like, if he told this other tribe that he's a surgeon, but now he's lying to this tribe, I don't understand why. If he's been going with the whole personal trainer thing from the beginning, then whatever.
Over on Ratu, Carson joins. And he's like, yeah, Jam's running the show with Carolyn over there. Matthew decides to bring Carson in with some really solid, definitely not fake intelligence. The first part's true. He's like, yeah, Brandon played the idol the first night, so went back into the game. Jamie found the second idol. It was a fake idol, but Carson doesn't need to know that. So I really like that for Matthew.
Yeah, how do we feel about this? Because this is dangerous. Like, the concept of sharing too much information is dangerous. The fact that he's sharing information about a fake idol, that's where, it's different, but...
There's enough here for deniability, I think. Plausible deniability. He'd be like, oh my God, I didn't know it was a fake idol. He could play that card, potentially.
Now, what if Carson goes to other tribe members and uses the information against, like, Matthew? It's like, Matthew told me all this stuff that's going on.
Yep.
That could be an easy way to lose some trust within your tribe if you're Matthew.
Could be.
And we're touching on a question we actually got tonight, which is how quick should you divulge info to new tribe members or mutiny tribe members or swapped in tribe members? And when is it too soon?
Well, the risk you run is a really tough balance, because if you do it too soon, you lose your leverage. But if you do it too late, other people can get in on the ground floor before you. So, you got to really gauge out the person who's coming over. It seems like Carson's got a pretty solid social game, so I don't blame Matthew for doing it so early. So it really depends.
We also don't... It's been a while since this tribe has been to tribal, and we don't really know where those lines are falling yet. So, is Matthew in the majority on his tribe? I really don't know. It seems like he's close with Jamie, but anyone outside of that, I don't think we really know. And even if you are in a quote unquote majority, if that majority is only a difference of one, okay, congrats. Like, you just swapped out Carson, so there's a lot of danger there. So I see the benefit of it, but it is risky.
I want to look at this one in a vacuum, because, like all good things, of course, this depends. It depends on the swap. It depends on the ratios. It depends on your alliance. Let's look at this one, because Josh already kind of touched on the numbers. You've got a tribe of 5. Carson leaves. That's pretty dangerous, having a new person come in. I didn't mean to say Carson left. Jamie left. Carson comes in. It's pretty dangerous. But Carson also feels like he's on the outs. He's in a very vulnerable position. Matthew has an idol. He's in a very safe position. So I don't mind him divulging this half-truth to Carson to try and bring him in early, because he has some goodwill that can be burned, and it won't necessarily cost him the game. It might just cost him a short-term position and put him on his back foot. But we're pretty close to merge time, so I think there's plenty of wiggle room. I like this move.
Then over on Soka, where we don't spend much time here, Jamie joins Soka. Danny searches her bag but can't find anything, but she thinks she has 2 idols. One's fake, though, but they don't find it. Immunity challenge. It's very funny because this is the one where they have to jump off a platform, grab a key, and then swim. And Lauren misses the key in her jump, which is just fantastic.
It doesn't seem that like the keys are that far away from the platform. Maybe it's a little deceiving, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know how hard Lauren was really trying here.
It's always weird to me because it seems like there's people who can't jump. And it's just like, that is mind-boggling to me. How can you not jump?
But at the same time, like, there's people like Carolyn in the slingshot challenge who just couldn't understand physics.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like parts of random challenges that some people just are inept at for some random reason.
I can understand like being completely inept at physics, but how, unless you have like a physical ailment, how can you not jump? That's just baffling to me. I can't wrap my head around it.
One thing that gives me a small amount of anxiety watching this particular challenge, it looks like so much fun. Mm-hmm. All I'm thinking about the whole time is how they're standing on a wooden platform that people are getting out of the water and going and tracking up on. So if you're the third or fourth person to go, you don't have a dry landing pad. You don't have a dry runway. And I'm thinking specifically about Lydia from a couple seasons ago who couldn't jump and get the key, period. It might be super wet and super dangerous up there.
It is typically the people who are later on in the challenge that struggle the most. So that could be possible.
This is just one thought because we don't ever zoom in on the water puddles on top. But I mean, who belly flopped? Was it Lauren who belly flopped? Like, that's not something you do if you had control when you left your feet. So just a thought. Still looks like a ton of fun.
She redeems herself by doing the puzzle, and they have a comeback victory over on Ratu. Soko gets first, Ratu gets second. So Lauren redeems herself in that challenge. Tika is going to Tribal Council.
And particularly, Jam Jam really struggled with the balance beam side to slow them down.
the balance beam pretty badly. So Tika is going to Tribal Council. Josh is the obvious target, 3-1 at this point. Jam Jam says he thinks Josh is going to come for him. And Karen's like, oh, why do you think that? And he's like, this is going to sound rude, but they think I'm a threat and they don't think you're a threat.
You're right.
It did sound rude.
That does sound rude.
And while that was surprising for him to say, what was more surprising to me was what Carolyn said next. And it was something along the lines of, oh, well, that wouldn't be the first time that you said that. So this has come up before.
Yep.
And we haven't seen that.
Trouble in Paradise. And so Yamcham suggests, like, hey, why don't we tell Josh to vote for Carolyn? And she's right here. She's part of this plan. Carolyn, you're the fake boot. We've seen this many, many times in Survivor. And you know how often it works out? Not often. Because the person who's the fake boot gets pissed and flips the game. Fair. That's what you should do. If someone, like, throws your name out like that, like, you're the fake one, just in case he plays an idol. The hell, that means I'm going home. And so, no, absolutely flip the game at that point. And ideally, doesn't happen this time, you flip the game on that person because they clearly don't value you enough. So get rid of Jam Jam in this case. That's not going to happen, but Carolyn is going to flip, and I do not blame her at all because of this conversation right here.
Yeah, and it's a really tricky situation for Carolyn just because we're talking about a now remaining group of 3 from your original tribe, people who you think are your closest alliance members. I know you haven't really worked with Sarah much at all, but especially Jam Jam, where that is your closest person since whatever the first tribal. Flipping on him, what's next? Like, are you gonna just pair with Josh and go off with the rest of Soka once you merge? I understand the reason to flip, but the path forward just becomes that much muddier now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're in a tough spot at this point, but it's still the right thing to do because you got to break this up, go full mercenary.
With Carolyn, I know you we're saying this is a pretty unique, tricky situation. Well, Carolyn's a pretty unique, tricky kind of player to begin with. The fact that Jam Jam didn't want to be 4th on a tribe of 4 and decided to ally with Carolyn to force the issue, play chicken with Carson and Heidi and Sarah way back when, a couple of weeks ago now, I guess. you're now reaping that which you have sown. And you haven't treated the relationship with enough care by saying things like, oh, I'm the biggest threat. I'm a big threat. They're going to target me because I'm a threat. You're the decoy. You're the decoy. That's going to grate on a person if you're on an island and, no one is actually greater than another, especially in an advantage idle heavy season where everything can go amiss. Jam Jam's got to be nicer. And I'm not saying he's not nice. I'm saying that he's being arrogant.
Yep.
The hubris, if he does get voted out, will be his downfall. I am still on the Jam tram, but I have 1 foot off.
He's my way to pick. I joined you, and I regret it. I went off.
There's room on the Danny train.
Can't do that. That's not how it works. I'm stuck until we crash. I'm stuck on this thing. But Sarah and Jam tell Josh, they're like, oh yeah, we're voting Carolyn. Yeah, you gotta vote Carolyn. Carolyn and Josh talk, and Josh's like, yeah, they're coming for you. I could play my idol on you, and then we could take out Sarah. Josh, don't do that. Josh, no.
But I think this is the perfect thing to say.
Yes, perfect thing to say.
For anyone who's in this spot or like a similar spot, since this is very rare, telling someone that you're going to play it on them and then playing on yourself has been done many, many times before, and it works out a lot because you get to influence that person's vote before they know whether or not you're going to play the idol on them.
Give them hope.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Dangle it.
Yep.
Oh, you got to be quicker than that.
Vote for Sarah.
Give him a little carrot, but you never give him the carrot. So they decide on Sarah. What do you think between Sarah and Jam? What do you guys think about that one?
I thought about it for a while. I do like it.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to lose Sarah regardless. Or you have a very good chance of losing Sarah, like, come merge time. And not, like, someone who's probably not going to work with you. Jam's at least a knowledgeable player who hopefully, this can be a little bit of a reality check or just kind of like put him in his place here so that he's not just, the big threat that he thinks that he is. And maybe you can get something together after this vote and, kind of bring that alliance back together going forward as just like your nice tight duo.
I agree. It's pretty similar, but I'm gonna phrase it like this. Of those 3, especially after what we saw with Jam, Josh is targeting the person who is the most down to earth. I genuinely believe that, which lends to her ability to assimilate come merge time. And if he wants to create a little bit of chaos right now and hopefully not go back to tribal, target that person who's going to be craftier, who's going to be a little more tricksy. And Jam and Carolyn, who are both kind of space cadets, frankly, maybe you can manipulate them a little bit more. And now by getting Carolyn to flip, at least in terms of votes, there's another fissure that you can immediately exploit to maybe keep you around if you do have to come back. I don't necessarily think that Sarah had strong enough of a connection with either of them to feel that betrayal had something happened differently. So I do like the move.
Yeah, I kind of come down on either way, I'm fine. It's kind of whatever Carolyn and Josh are most comfortable with because they have more information than us, and I see the pros and cons to both, and ultimately it would have been fine either way.
The thing that'll be interesting to see come merge time is if this like really lessened Jam's threat level.
Sure.
Because maybe if they would have stuck together and Josh goes out, or maybe they win immunity and don't go to tribal until merge time, I could have seen Jam be an early like post merge target to go out. But at this point, he might end up now being off in a better position long term.
I'm predicting he goes home in the episode where they go to 2 different tribal councils when they split like 5 and 5, and he'll go home in one of those 2. That's what I'm gonna call right now.
I do agree with Josh. For Jam in particular, how should he view this vote? He should view it as a humbling experience, and he should be gracious for the second chance that he still has Carolyn, his historically closest ally so far. Like, she could have stabbed you in the back. Instead, she just stabbed you in the leg.
Yep. He's got to really change some stuff here.
And he should actually like be paired with her as a duo, not just like say that he is.
I don't know if I agree with that one. I think he should say that he is until he doesn't need her.
But I think he's going to need her the entire that's the thing.
Yes, but until he doesn't need her.
Yeah, if you can get into the situation, I think literally anybody ever, if you no longer need the Nora, the Debbie, or the Carolyn, the Abby Maria, you probably get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's just good sound Survivor logic.
Too unpredictable. Tribal Council, Jam Jam really leans into Carolyn being the target. He's really playing it up, going for the Emmy here, which doesn't really help anything.
Well, and Carolyn also, she gets the Oscar.
But she believes it, it seems like. She partially believes this, it seems like.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Is I don't think Jam Jam really realizes that she's only like half acting, if at all. Like, she might not actually be acting anymore.
I'm not normal.
And she has the greatest like freeze frame of her voting. Just her face while she's voting is hilarious. But Josh is going to end up playing his idol. 2 votes for Josh, negated. That leaves 2 votes for Sarah. She does not play her fake idol, so she thinks she goes home with an idol in her pocket. Hilarious final words. Carolyn doesn't play her idol either. So was this the right move? I think it's good enough.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
The only thing we need to talk about, should Sarah have played her fake idol, and should Carolyn have played her idol? Because these are decisions that they made.
Sarah should have played her fake idol just to be safe. Carolyn was fine.
Yep.
Maybe that's results-oriented thinking, but...
And I don't know how it would have worked out here, but I'll even go one on top of that. Sarah should have played her inheritance advantage and then played her idol.
Yes. Yeah, you might have to play that before the idols are played.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, I think you have to put it in like the urn.
And we're never going to figure it out this season.
Yeah,
so.
we have no idea how the inheritance
until they put
works.
it back in.
Someone else will have to get it.
Yeah, next episode when we go to Mystery Adventure Island.
Ghost Island 2.0.
Someone's going to get the inherited idol, and someone's going to get the Tyler Perry idol, and somebody's going to get Knowledge's Power.
Oh, boy.
Yay.
Yeah. How did that feel to hear?
Do you have the Tyler Perry idol? Kip finally works.
What did Twitter have to say? Did the right person go home?
Yeah, so according to Twitter, 58% of people said that, yes, the right person got voted out tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Good enough. All right, let's get into best and worst player of the episode. I'll go first. And I don't know. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say on this one, but I'm going to give mine to Josh. You could criticize him for his bad lie about being a physical trainer or whatever he said he was, instead of a surgeon. Everybody saw there, but more importantly, he played the idol, saved himself, and he got Carolyn to flip, got Carolyn on his side. So he's in a pretty good spot moving forward, considering what happened to him in this episode. So Josh is my best player of the episode.
I actually feel I picked the low-hanging fruit, and I said Carolyn.
Yeah.
She had the fake idol plant and got it to Sarah. She connected well enough with Josh to where Josh was willing to divulge the idol information. She made the correct move by going with him to throw a vote on Sarah, and she correctly chose to not play her idol because she knew what everyone was doing. She knew they were trying to fake out Josh, and she knew that Josh was going to target Sarah. So she made the best of all of her information and came out scratch-free.
Can't argue with you. I can't.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Carolyn, too, just because I feel like, Josh... honorable mention, sure. But Carolyn just did more. I feel like, I'm going to give them both equal credit as far as like going towards Sarah on this vote. Josh was just given the idol. He didn't really do anything for that. It was a 100% no-brainer to play it. Yeah. So it's like you get a little bit of a thumbs up on that, but just the smallest ones. But then she did a great job with the fake idol and recognizing, the situation that she's in with how Jam Jam is kind of viewing her. So and acting on it, actually, like not only recognizing, but also acting on it in the correct way. So I'll give her credit for that too.
And I actually want to go back. I don't want to give Josh even an honorable mention, to be honest. My big issue is what happened in the first 5 minutes of the episode. We learned in this episode sure. exactly how bad of a social game Josh sure. has right now, to where we're not even targeting a power duo. He lucked himself out of that situation with an unprecedented twist that gave Derek partial credit on his prediction from last week. And as far as Josh said, with him getting the idol, that's like handing a 5-year-old a $20 bill and saying, you have to spend it before we leave the store. Of course you're going to spend it. So
you've convinced me I changed mine to Carolyn.
Woo! I did it!
Yep.
Good job, Derek.
Thank you.
It was both of you, to be fair. Yeah. I'll give you both credit for that.
You seem more impressed by Derek, though. So
I think I was really like, because I had been like, before we got here, and I'd considered flipping, and you guys were making some really good points. I was like, maybe I should flip, and then Derek threw that beginning part. Like, I forgot about that. That's enough for me.
I will say my honorable mention goes to Matthew for his social work with Carson.
Matthew's solid too.
He got to the beach.
I wasn't really considering him just because I still don't know how I feel about it.
Sure.
Oh, it's a low honorable mention, but those were my 2 finalists for best player.
All right. How about worst player? Derek, who do you got?
I have Jam Jam. Bro, he be flapping those gums. You have to make your alliance members feel close to you. You have to be willing to play the game of Survivor, and he threw his team member under the bus, and he was acting all surprised after that vote. Like, why did you do this? I can't believe that happened. And to Josh's point earlier when we were talking in the podcast, he has been talking himself up. Honestly, he reminded me a little bit of Russell Hands, like not as sinister or as, filled with like vehement or whatever, but he's a big threat. He's the guy. You can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Josh?
Yeah, what Derek said. It's mostly just Jam Jam by default.
Yeah.
There really isn't anyone else to choose from.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think so. It's just the strategy of like telling the decoy boot. Unless you were on Survivor One World playing with Leaf and Christina, this does not work. Because I was running through my memory banks trying to figure out like, has this worked? It worked on One World because Christina and Leaf are the two worst strategic players of all time. And those are the only two that I think that worked on. I might be forgetting one, but those are the only two that come to mind. You can't do this. This does not work. This is a bad. This might be like one of the worst strategic moves in Survivor, just like on a success rate. Bad.
Yeah, the only worst move might be telling everyone to vote for you and not having a backup plan.
Right.
The Zane.
The Zane.
My only other honorable mention I had, or dishonorable mention on this, was the rest of Soka Tribe, but we also don't understand the circumstances of why Josh got sent to Mystery Adventure Island, so obviously couldn't
that's a
pick
big
that.
question mark. Like I said, I'm negating that completely.
Right. I just wanted to bring it up. I felt it was relevant.
Let's get into who is going next. Josh, take us over to Ratu. Who's going next? New Ratu.
New Ratu. We do have Carson over there, but he's got this idol that would be a no-brainer to play. So ain't gonna be him. There's a little bit of mystery going on with the edit and Matthew, but I don't think it's gonna be him either. I guess I'll go. I've said Lauren a few times, so I'm gonna go back to Lauren here. I know the go-to pick might be Kane, but we really haven't seen a whole lot of Lauren, so it might just be an easy exit for her.
Yeah, I was considering between Kane and Lauren, and I'm landing on Lauren because she has been to Mystery Adventure Island and she has some advantage, whatever it was. She's got the
bank vote.
Yeah, she got the bank vote. Carson knows she's been to Mystery Adventure Island, so if they're gonna come for him, he could just play his idol, and who would he knock out? Maybe Lauren, because he knows she has something, and women have been going home.
Oh no!
So I have Lauren.
I'm just standing pat with Kane until I get more information. We don't know these people very well yet.
It's true. I'll take us over to Soka. It's really hard because Jamie's got this idol. This was a really weird, like, where is Jamie going to go? I'm just going to go with Matt because he doesn't have a vote. And so he's the least amount of power, therefore he might go home. So I don't really know for sure, but Matt's my pick.
Yeah, I actually have Heidi. I feel like Franny and Jamie are going to come at the Danny Heidi duo, and if Danny plays his idol, revote, and Heidi goes home. It could be just as well. It could be Matt. I just picked one.
Yeah, it's tricky with Jamie being in there and having that idol. And it'll be interesting to see if she's going to be more public with it, that she has it to really influence the vote or not. I was originally thinking between Matt and Franny. This really does help that Matt doesn't have a vote too. If he did, I don't think it would be one of them. I will stick with Franny here.
Derek, take us over to Tika. Who's going next?
All right, so we've got the humbled Jam Jam, the ever spacey Carolyn,
Who has an idol,
and Josh. I do think that if brass came to tax, Josh would go home. I think Jam Jam and Carolyn would come back together and realize they kind of need each other, and Josh is not going to stick with them come merge time. So if they do go back, they almost have to vote out Josh and go in as a duo and have an unintentional Matt singing going on.
I agree. I think it would end up being Josh. I think that Jam Jam comes to his senses, gets a little bit humbled here. Him and Carolyn reunite and take on the merge as a power duo.
The real power couple.
See, that's a bad plan. I think Jam Jam's got to go. I think Carolyn needs to commit to Josh, and abandon Tika and try and join in with the Ahsoka group because she doesn't know how Josh assumes he's close with them. She doesn't know any better. There's no way for her to know that Josh was the next target on that tribe. So I think she's got to cut Jam Jam if they lose and go with Josh.
Interesting.
The interesting part is also whether you can argue whether or not she should do that. It's what she will do too.
All right, let's get into who cannot win this game. Josh, who can't win?
Yeah, it's a big day. You know, we're finally switching off Carolyn here.
You both had Carolyn last time, correct?
Yep.
I've had Carolyn since the beginning of the season.
Spoiler, because I'm switching mine as well.
Again?
Again, I'm switching mine again.
Oh, okay. You know, I said last time that I was teetering between Carolyn and Matt, just because it seems like Matt really hasn't had a whole lot going on for him, and he seems like he can't really lie at all. And the other candidate here is Josh, I think. But he's just in such an interesting situation here that I don't know, he could find his way out of it. So I'm going to go with what my instinct was last episode, and I'm going to go with Matt can't win this game.
Okay. I had Josh last time. I'm going to switch to Jam Jam, who is my winner pick, because I think he's too arrogant to win.
I haven't seen enough of that. One episode does not a characterization make necessarily, but I do also flip off of Carolyn here. I think that for all of Carolyn's oddities, she is a genuine, likable person who has just a very interesting story, a very interesting exterior. But those people can win. You know who can't win? The most unlikable person, and I think that's Josh. The only way that Josh wins is if somehow, this sounds awful, he changes his entire personality, ends up with entirely new people, because most of his former tribe at this rate are making the merge, and he most likely needs to make it to the end with them. If that's the case, they're going to win over him. If they go to the jury, it might be because he flipped, but they didn't really like him anyway. They're going to be open to not voting for him. I think that Josh has the toughest road to win the game from here. And so for the purpose of this segment, Josh cannot win the game.
All right. I like that we have 3 different people.
That's interesting. It's the first time, maybe ever,
Yeah.
that we've had 3 different people.
And also, I don't think anyone's ever said their winner pick as cannot
Yeah,
win
that was
the
a
game.
very quick change of pace there, Ryan.
Hey, man.
I don't know if I agree with. Actually, I don't agree with it.
That's
but.
fine. You don't have to, but there's slim pickings here. And I think Josh moved up past Jam Jam.
I think there's plenty of pickings.
No,
I think Josh is a great pick
There's
too.
only 2 choices. There's only 2 choices. You're dead wrong, Josh. Derek makes logical sense. Those are the only 2 choices.
I just don't see it in Matt to be able to do it.
Matt could beat people if he gets to the end. Matt, Jam Jam.
Matt
Josh,
feels
three,
like a
Matt
0
wins.
vote finalist to me.
Matt gets to the end with Josh, and Jam Jam Matt wins.
And if I
Jam wins that. Hands down.
And if I can throw some support Josh's way on this one, we can use whatever logic we want to pick who can't win. I think Josh might be coming from an angle, editology-wise, that he's not going to win based on what we've seen.
That's what I think is happening here. Josh's editology. Derek is...
This is not edited.
Josh,
you don't think
we've
so?
hardly seen any of Josh.
Josh's editology. Derek is road to the end.
Yeah.
Who's got the toughest road, and I am social game only.
Well, I don't have road to the end. I have likability, I guess.
I would.
Like the votes.
That's not what I'm seeing.
I do not agree with that with the editology. Because I think the editology is more with Josh because of how little we've seen him and how selective of like the mentions of him that the edit has given us. Whereas Matt, everything we've seen has pointed to not a good player.
I don't agree with you on that because we've heard plenty about Josh in the last 2 episodes from people in his alliance, people out of his alliance, and people's overall impressions of him. Josh is not narrating his own story. Other people are narrating it for him, and it's not a likable one.
People like Matt. That is the most important thing.
I guess.
Yeah, Josh, I think you're dead wrong. I think Derek
That's
has some great amount of logic. I can respect that.
Well, I respect Derek's more than yours, so
That's fine.
at least we're in agreement
All right,
there.
Derek. Who do you respect more pick, mine or Josh?
You have a worse pick. Jam can 100% still win this game. I do think it's too early. That said, I like the coconuts, man. I do. That's a great pick.
My own winner pick.
It's great for entertainment.
Now, The real person who can't win this game is Mike Gabler.
Yes,
yes.
Mike Gabler actually cannot win this game until
Mike Gabler's out waiting on edge of
yeah,
extinction.
Jeff is going to be like, we have a boat out in the middle of the sea. You're going to win reward. You're going to go get to visit with a mystery person. But actually, it's going to be swapping them out.
They're going to give you advice on how to win the game.
Mike Gabler.
All right, step 1, be Mike Gabler.
You
Step
have 3
2,
Survivor winners. You're going to you choose a path. You can either talk to Mike Gabler, Chris Underwood, or Ben Driebergen.
Yay!
Brian Hardick. Just out of
Heidek.
nowhere.
Oh, no.
Brian Hardick.
So here's the first thing you do is you shoot a puppy.
Oh, no.
And then you appear in a softcore porn. No. And then you maybe say something racist off camera to a cop. And then you definitely say something about how women are cleaning up the camp as it should be.
And then you win.
And then you win.
Oh, Survivor Thailand.
I was watching. This is a fun story. I told you guys about this, but I was watching Good Morning America yesterday, and just some random lady was being interviewed. She was wearing a Survivor buff, and I got really excited. I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool! This isn't even on CBS." Survivor Thailand buff. I'm like, "But why?"
Why?
I like my theory the best. Someone bought them a buff, and the only one out there that was available was Survivor Thailand.
The cheapest one.
That one's probably signed by Brian.
Oh,
This was signed by a winner. Here you go.
Yikes. I think the only cheaper one nowadays would be Nick Wilson.
Oh,
Talk about nosediving stocks.
Talk about we went from Brian Heidick as everyone's least favorite winner to Nick Wilson as everyone's least favorite winner.
And on that, we really do try to stay away from politics on this because Survivor's just a dumb fun game and we're just a dumb fun podcast. But we are anti-Nick Wilson.
Anti-Nick Wilson.
That's those kind of votes. They're either made in bad faith or they are made incompetently, and we are not here for it.
F Nick Wilson, and if you disagree and have a problem with us bringing this up on the podcast, I don't want you listening to the podcast. Go to hell.
Fair enough.
All right. On that really fun note, let's get into the Survivor pool.
Ah, yes.
For Derek can go bye-bye.
Goodbye.
All right, Josh. You and I are still alive. Last time I had Matthew. Still here. Who did you have?
I had Danny, my winner pick.
We're still here. So we stay alive. We get to pick someone who we have not picked yet.
And the pool that we can choose from shrunk by another one with
neither of us
Sarah.
had picked Sarah. So far I have picked Lauren, Carolyn, and Matthew. My new pick tonight is Jamie. She has a hidden immunity. I don't pick it someone with an idol. I feel like, I was leaning between her and Carson, but I feel like Carson has more longevity in the game than Jamie. So Jamie's my pick.
I thought the exact same thing. I don't think Jamie is too long for this world. And she has an idol that expires probably within the next 2 episodes. So play it immediately if you go to Tribal. This is probably the easiest one that we've had.
All right.
And now she's going to go home.
Jamie's going home next, and we're all done. All right. Well, that's this episode. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, at Castaway Pod on Twitter, MySpace, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to check out the videos that we have for all of our episodes, Facebook or YouTube are good for that.
And TikTok is the other one we have.
And not social media, but how about we don't invalidate certain people's lives?
Yeah.
Let's just all be kind and accepting.
Be kind.
And don't vote to take people's rights away.
Yeah. So if you have a vote, don't take away people's rights.
Yeah. Just take away people's votes in Survivor.
You'd really
Steal a vote.
Steal a vote.
You really think that'd be something that everyone could agree on, not taking away rights?
Can I play my vote blocker on Nick Wilson?
Yes, a vote nullifier or steal a vote.
All right. Well, on that really cheery note, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
Good night.